Mark Thorn is the Senior Vice President at Coulee Bank in Onalaska. He joins us now to talk about what local banks are doing to keep customers' information safe. Is this a concern for folks who primarily bank online?
It is a concern. It's something that as a consumer we always have to be aware of. As a bank institution and financial institution, we're constantly monitoring our security defense systems. But it really is also up to the customer to go in and look at their online account and see what transactions are transpiring on their account.
You mentioned the security that the banks are currently doing. What are some of the things that our local banks are doing to make sure our money is safe when it's at the bank?
Well, we have a number of things that we have actually triple layered security. As if you notice when you log into your or your online bank, you're not only providing an ID and a password, but there's also a watermark that's uniquely to you. The other thing that we look at is your password. You want to make sure your password is strong. By that meaning 6 to 15 characters in length, both letters, numbers, and special characters, to make it more difficult for people to hack into it.
Are breaches becoming more common, or do you feel like we're just hearing about them more?
I believe they're more common, and they're going to continue to be common. In fact, whether it's from the retailer side or on the bank side, the good thing to know is customers are protected. The banks act very quickly. As soon as we are alerted, we actually close down accounts to make sure that there is no more fraud that occurs on their account.
You mentioned passwords and the importance of coming up with a difficult password. How else can consumers help to protect their own accounts? Should they be looking at their statements?
Well, they need to be looking not only at their statements but online, going in and checking to make sure that there is the activity that they did do. If they didn't, it alert the banks right away. We do score every transactions through the debit cards, so it is something that if we see something that's unusual, we'll call out and make an alert, put a block on a card, call the customer, and make sure that it is their card.
Now, if you mentioned, if you notice something funny on your account, call the bank. Is that like the first thing people should do? Just call your bank if you notice? First
thing to do is call the bank and let them know.
Do you feel that this type of concern is becoming more and more difficult for banks to handle? Consumers getting concerned, calling, has it become difficult for banks, basically, the hackers?
Well, it's a different type of difficulty. We are under a lot of regulatory concern to make sure that our security is up to date, and the costs involved in that is becoming quite extensive. But at the same point, if you don't have that kind of security, your customers aren't going to feel good about it. The other thing that you're seeing is a lot of new opportunities for companies such as a LifeLock or a Deluxe ProVent that actually do ID monitoring, that are actually watching out for who's actually applying for credit in your name. And that's a big issue, is that you need to be making sure, and this is a key point besides just strong password, is to make sure that you're checking your credit report annually to make sure that people aren't applying for credit in your name.
All right, good advice. Thank you so much for your time today. Mark?